this is a non-tubeless ready tire and rim. We're gonna try tubeless setup on it with a hack. Stick around to see if this experiment works. Tubeless setup on tubeless ready tires and rims are hard enough, and it's involved much more things with non-tubeless ready tires and rims. Will the benefits of a tubeless setup outweigh the difficulty of this conversion? A bit of background here. I've replaced my inner tube 3 times in the last 2 months due to pinch flats. They're like when the inner tube is pinched in between the tire and the rim. I'll show you how we did this conversions and impressions at the end.
Let's start by removing the wheel from the bike, letting off all the air and pulling out both tire and inner tube. Next, we're gonna remove the stock rim strip because it's not really designed for tubeless. Then, we need to prepare the rim by giving it a good wipe so this tape will stick properly. Since this rim is not really designed for tubeless, it has holes on the side which need to be covered. After wrapping with tape, we need to cut a hole for the valve. Next, pull out the 20-inch inner tube. This is the key to the hack. This inner tube will seal between the rim and the tire. We use a 20-inch tube because it has to be stretched around the rim. Then, we cut the inner tube in half and spread it on both sides of the rim. The inside of the tube is covered with white powder, so we need to wipe this down so it won't react to the sealant. Now it's time to put the tire back on and test if the tire will seal by pumping it up. Don't put sealant yet. After testing, it held air for a few minutes and then we decided to put some sealant in. We pumped it right back and we didn't have any trouble pumping it up to 28 psi. But we immediately noticed tiny bubbles of sealant around the sidewall of the tire. This is another issue because the tire is not tubeless ready. There is also a tiny puncture on the sidewall which later squirts sealant out. We just let the sealant up to dry up and left it overnight. The following day, the tire is down about 10 psi. We decided to pump it up again and let it seal on its own. We were happy it's not letting air out too quickly, so it's time to trim off the excess tube. We used a craft knife and go around near the bead. Just be careful not to slice the tire. You can also use scissors, but this had made a cleaner cut. After the setup, we have to pump up the tire every day. At this point, we are days before a big bike park weekend trip, and having an experimental setup that is losing air is risky. So we decided to go ahead and try it on the trail, thinking that if it fails, we'll just chuck in inner tubes. When we got on the top of the mountain, the tire was flat, and we pumped it 2 times after each section. But something happened. With all the dust sticking onto the sealant, the tire sealed up and held air for the entire weekend. We rode for 2 days without any punctures and issues. The tubeless felt a lot better compared to tubes, especially on a hardtail bike. By running lower pressures, it felt like the tire was able to soak a bit more of the smaller bumps, and the risk of pinch flash was greatly reduced. Another big advantage of running tubeless is using tire inserts, which I will post another video soon. I'd say this experiment works and is highly recommended, especially on hardtail bikes. But this conversion is not faultless. The tire is still losing a tiny amount of air over time, so it's a must to check and top up air before riding. If you're not riding regularly or don't want extra maintenance, this might not be the thing for you.
If you have any questions or comments, you can drop them down below, and we'll love to check them out and even answer your questions. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, and if you haven't, please consider subscribing. We would really appreciate it, and you can always undo it later. Shred hard, ride safe. Peace out. Until the next video.